I wonder how the President of the United States is doing and what he's up to.
Thank you. Welcome to Washington.
Yeah, he looks spry, energetic, full of vigor and resolve, and absolutely competent as... That was actually New York City. Yes, you heard that correctly. The President of the United States doesn't know where he is, but don't worry. He must be competent enough in order to pass through very complicated legislation that conveniently robs you of the ability to be able to defend yourself, as he is soon to sign an executive order that, quote, will reduce violence with particular tools by removing the violence. You know, just like forks make people fat. If you remove forks, there'll be no fat people, right? Yeah. Totally competent, logical, kind of methodical thinking here, as of course, let's be honest here, the guy's really not in charge. And the people who are, if they overstep their balance, well, they go down and they get indicted and prosecuted. As today, we are just finding out about a historic federal indictment of the current mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, that is alleged to have taken $10 million in public funds, as well as $123,000 in free luxury travel ritzy perks. This, as New York City public advocate Jumaane Williams now will be the next mayor in the interim of these charges, as everything, of course, gets figured out here. As he is also the same man that told the New York City to accept discomfort as he was calling on for political rallies that supported his political ideology during a national health emergency. This, as Rob Smith took to Twitter and said, New York City has been terrible for quite some time, but this is catastrophic. More crime, more trash, more illegals. Quote, this is really, really bad. As other online commentators like Mike Cernovich are commentating, that's it. That's the case here. $100,000 in luxury travel and ritzy perks, whatever that means. That seems like an average Sunday for a congressman. What are you talking about? That's nothing. What's really going on here, as a lot of people are pointing to the fact that maybe Eric Adams wasn't playing ball, as exactly 1 year ago, it looks like the mayor kind of went off script and talked about how migrants that the Democrats are importing in order to have a reign of power over this country forever, he described them as individuals that were, quote, destroying New York City.
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month.
Yep, as the Democrats love people who stay in line and just regurgitate their talking points, which brings me to the next story today, and that is that Kamala Harris, the hermit frog queen herself, finally got out of her hole and actually talked to some people, as she did an interview with MSNBC, which the corporate media is eating up and loving, as overwhelmingly their coverage of this kind of political cycle highlights an estimated 90-plus negative reports for one political candidate and overwhelming cheers and support for another one. The same person that, of course, is skirting them, hiding away from them, and not doing any kind of legitimate real interviews, except with networks that, of course, overwhelmingly support her and are, of course, cheering her on. As the corporate media is having a field day because there's going to be a scripted PR, marketed kind of show that all is orchestrated from bottom up, as a lot of the corporate media literally gets the questions beforehand and told, hey, you better not deviate from this. This is the questions. These are the PR talking points that you're going to be asking here, and that's going to be your interview, and you're going to like it. And many of them do, and many of them acquiesce and bow down to, of course, the positions of power, as they eat up every last word of this kind of eloquent, high IQ word salad wisdom.
Must be addressed, and we have to have a holistic response to it.
Are there things?
It's about understanding what we need to do to, again, understand that, to your point, we have to have a holistic response to this issue.
Yeah, we need to be holistic to understand, so we understand holistically. Yeah. I got it. Thank you. Such eloquence, such thought-provoking conversations that we would have never had if it wasn't for this word salad genius. This, as her chief political rival will now have public hearings about the attempted taking of his life which the corporate media likes to not really talk about. They really want you to forget about that. They really just want to just obfuscate the point that there were two very serious attempts on this man's life, as the task force on investigating this will actually be holding their first House hearing this Thursday, specifically focusing on the first attempt on Donald Trump's life, as they interviewed dozens of witnesses, gathered thousands of documents, and had to face off against federal government agencies that, according to a lot of people, were standing in their way and not complying with giving them answers to the serious questions that they had. Will the task force actually find some legitimate answers here? Well, let's just be honest here. With the way that things are going, especially with very tumultuous political times, probably not. This, as there was even an FBI whistleblower that just came out and talked about the, quote, highly inappropriate retaliation that has been made against him, as he is a whistleblower that has spoken up about the real awful things that happened within the Federal Bureau of Investigations, as he is now urging Americans to stock up on supplies for 3 to 4 months, specifically with food, water, and prayer, as he is warning that the FBI does not have the capabilities to, quote, rein in its own conduct. Here's a clip of some of his testimony to Congress this morning.
So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. So this is a warning to the American people. I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve, and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe that there are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly.
Yeah, and that, of course, wasn't the only kind of eye-opening testimony that we heard in Washington, D.C. today, as, of course, Jillian Michaels also came out and got a standing ovation after she was talking to members of the U.S. government about our health, which she described is in a, quote, extinction-level event, essentially describing how our whole system is rigged and is essentially, quote, a bad health by design framework, going on and saying that people have been sacrificed at the altar of corporate greed. And her assessment is something that I would absolutely agree with, as she had this to say.
The entirety, almost, of my generation, along with the 2 generations that followed, have fallen victim to America's unchecked obesity crisis and over 170 comorbidities that go along with it. I don't know about you, but I've watched my friends jabbing themselves every day with fertility drugs, praying for a pregnancy, my friends getting up at the crack of dawn to get radiated where the lump was found in their breast, my friends swallowing fistfuls of pills to manage their debilitating anxiety and depression. The decades between 1980 and now didn't beget a genetic quantum leap in which our DNA inexplicably mutated to make American bodies expand and fall ill at an unprecedented pace. And while Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z have our problems, 75% of us are not stupid, weak, or lazy. So hopefully you are wondering, what has happened to us? And we're here to tell you. In the late 70s and the early 80s, a sinister series of events converged to change food and subsequently health in America indefinitely.
And it's not just celebrities and former FBI whistleblowers warning about dark times ahead. It's also the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, who came out and warned of a, quote, new dark era for humanity in his speech to the United Nations, a speech that I think deserves a lot more attention, as he talked about the importance of free speech, which is directly under attack, as he slammed censorship and described how his country turned around and was able to free millions of people. This as Elon Musk praised his speech, saying that he was touched on the need for freedom of expression. Comments that I think are also very important to hear at this important juncture of our humanity.
It didn't start just a while ago. We've only now just noticed it now because it's accelerating, and this means that we are moving towards a scary inflection point. We are standing before a new dark period for humanity. As a Salvadorian, I recognize these symptoms because we have experienced all of them. We saw the collapse of our nation step by step, and we are seeing these same steps, but this time on a global scale. We cannot, nor do we want to tell other countries what they should do. Every country needs to take its own decisions and do what's best for its people. We can only offer a word of warning to a friend who's gone through a dark period and who has gone through a battle in their own lives. We can't change the direction of the world. El Salvador is too small a country for that. We are indeed the smallest country in the whole of the American continent. This is much bigger than us, and in fact, it's much bigger than any nation. We can't prevent the obscure times that are ahead, but what we can do is become a small refuge in light of the approaching storm and try to have hope.
This says El Salvador is looking more and more promising, especially with a lot of the prosperity that its people are feeling and alternative economies that might be implemented here in the United States under the political leadership of Donald J. Trump. Now, will that happen? Again, who knows? Humanity is facing a lot of adversities. We are being challenged more than ever. There's a lot of things in our way, from progress, from prosperity, from growth, from health, from wealth. And it's important to note here that the people who set these objections towards us reaching all these goals are using our own wants, demands, and psychological weaknesses in order to take advantage of us and have us comply in their larger system. And that's one reason out of many reasons I created Unfiltered.com, a way for all of us to get to meet each other, see each other, network with each other, but also more importantly, get the skills in training for three important things. And whether you're looking to travel or expatriate, you should check out our travel hacking masterclass, which is available for free for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. If you're looking to get engaged in media, you should check out Change Media University, also free for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. And most importantly, if you're looking to, of course, survive any situation, you should download the Apocalypse Survival Guide that you could download with one click of a button just by signing up and becoming a member of LukeUnfiltered.com. We're also doing an in real life meetup this Friday, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern here in South Florida. Come out, meet your fellow like-minded friends, brothers, sisters, and other individuals who think like you do, and we'll be able to break bread and support good business down here in South Florida that actually aligns with our political viewpoints and ideology. So come out to those meetups. We're going to be doing more nature hikes. We're going to be doing more events just for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? I've been doing this for 20 years. And if you've been watching this for 20 plus years, this is the time where you also give back, where you say, yeah, I appreciate it. I want to see it grow. I want to see it expand. I don't want to see it extinguished, as we are facing insurmountable pressures more than ever that are very heavy, that are very serious. And you guys signing up right now really is extremely important. I'll explain in a little bit. And once you understand the pressures that I'm under, you're going to be like, holy frickin' cow. It's not easy. It's not fun. We need your support more than ever. Sign up right now on LukeUnfiltered.com. The link is in the description below, and I will see you there right afterwards with a special broadcast just for members of LukeUnfiltered.com. We're going to do another special live broadcast, 4 p.m. Eastern this Sunday. Stay tuned for that and a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys signing up, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.